One of the biggest challenges our clients faced was suddenly having to supervise remotely. The biggest challenge was beginning to have meetings where you weren't in the same room and all you were seeing was small images on a screen, or sometimes just a voice and not even an image. That was a big change. How do you supervise? How do you coach? How do you hold accountability? How do you have the team perform and really have robust discussions when you're not together? And that was the biggest change. And so looking at some of the best practices and looking at what we found was working with some of our clients and what we personally invented on our own as we started having to work with our clients remotely, we discovered some techniques and some tools that were very, very helpful and very useful. So there are some tools, there are some approaches to being able to work together remotely and be still very effective. Mm-hmm. And those tools and techniques are things that we teach now to our clients and we use with our clients. And they work. One of the most simple and obvious tools is make sure the camera's on and that everybody is attending. The worst thing is if you're talking and having a meeting and somebody's doing business work over here and you can't see their face. So, eyes on, face. We had one client based in London who said, well, he's a supervisor. He said, well, some people are in their bedrooms. I don't want to see their beds. And we said, well, you've got virtual backgrounds. He said, what's a virtual background? So some of it was just teaching some of our clients about some of the technology that you can have a virtual background where you don't see anything except this virtual image and the person so that you can actually see people. So that's really important. Mm-hmm. The second is that you need to be able to break people into subgroups and break out teams. And we have found that Zoom was the first to allow that. Then Microsoft Teams actually built that functionality in. Somehow getting people to be able to talk in small groups. We call it divide and empower. And then come back into the major room and share and talk. So you get robust dialogue. So it's not just one person talking and talking heads. It's people talking to each other and then coming back to the whole group. Mm-hmm. So those two things right there make a big difference. The other is that there are check-ins. So before the meeting, we suggest that the supervisor or the convener of the meeting do a check-in with people. Mm-hmm. Just here's the agenda, here are the questions we're going to ask, anything you think is important that we need to add or we need to address. So there's an agenda, there's a check-in with the group through email, then all cameras on, everybody in attendance, everybody focused, you get agreements there, and you use the breakout rooms, the divide and empower principle, to get engagement. Those are three we found very useful. Well, one of the biggest challenges in 2022 is a continuation of what we saw at the end of 2021, which has been called the Great Resignation. Millions of Americans have been quitting their jobs every month because after the pandemic, after really looking at health and wellness of their family, taking a look at how they were treated on the job, the kind of work they did, people were starting to value their time and what they did very differently. So organizations need to somehow now focus on how do I engage the hearts of those employees? How do I attract people because of the way we treat people, the way we talk to people, the way we engage people? How do I make the workplace more meaningful and respectful for everyone? That's an essential thing going into 2022 and forward, which requires some radical changes in some organizations, in fact, many organizations. I would say to you, over the 30-odd years of consulting with organizations, I keep being amazed at how many times people in work environments don't feel respected, they don't feel listened to, they don't feel valued. Well, right there, you suboptimize. Right there, you damage engagement. Right there, you're basically saying, I'm paying you, and you're getting these benefits, and I don't really value you. Well, anybody worth their salt, anybody with talent is going to vote with their feet. And even people who feel like they need a job aren't willing to put up with that anymore. So I think going into 2022, employers, senior leaders, Supervisors are going to need to stop and think, how am I showing respect? How am I inviting the whole person to show up? How am I inviting and showing people that they're valued? That's really essential. Now, that's one aspect. The second aspect is that we've got to be more creative. We've got to be more innovative. It can't be just do what we've always done. It can't be just do what I tell you. I need to hear your thinking. I need your ideas. I need for us to figure out better, more effective, or more efficient ways of getting this work done. I need to figure out how we can do it better in a way that's more respectful and more positive and more life-affirming. How can we do that? And that's a dialogue with the people doing the work. And so there has to be more dialogue, more discussion, more respectful engagement. That's all part of it, so that people feel valued, and when they do, we can now be more innovative and more creative. So that's the second challenge. A third challenge is change is going to accelerate. With artificial intelligence, with automation, with pandemic, and I don't think this is the last pandemic we're going to see, with all the changes and all the challenges we face in society, we're going to have to figure out how to be more change-enabled, right? Mm-hmm. How to be able to be more robust and resilient and bounce back and figure out new ways moving forward. That's a third major challenge for leaders going into 2022 and beyond. I think, there are more. Those are three that should come to mind first